love about living here is not being so isolated. That's been a really big one, yeah.
We basically live in town, 10 kilometres out of town. You've got access to whatever you need. No generators, you're on mains power, we're on town water. So we come from the Northern Territory. We're at Lake Nash Station. I was head stockman and Tash was camp cook for us.
I guess living in the Territory, we're always living really communally, and we really wanted something that was more close-knit for our family and a bit more schooling and education for the kids that was closer.
We basically started from the ground up. We focused on wire and water for the first 3 years we were here. That was our plan. And not having a decent season since we've been here, just ticking along on minimal rain.
So the annual rainfall is only 200 mils a year?
200 mils a year, and we haven't ever had even close to that, generally half. We've been down to as low as 50 mil a year, 2017, 2018. So I'm Aaron Land and manager of Brickhouse Station for Harvest Road Pastoral Company.
And I'm Tash Land, and I look after the homestead complex and
Your office?
yeah, the office stuff, the kids, cooking.
So the history of Brickhouse, 1876 was when they first white settlement reached the Gascoyne, and this where the homestead is here now was the first settlement in the Gascoyne. So they built a little hut and done whatever they had to do here and pegged Brickhouse out, and then the old homestead here was built in 1919, and it was all part of Burton, Forrest and Co. At that point in time, they settled here and turned him into a big thriving merino sheep station.
So September 2015, the Forrest purchased Brickhouse back into their family, and then we moved over in the November of 2015.
Yeah, so it's named Brickhouse because the homestead is made out of all brick, which was, they made their own moulds here and carted the sand out of the river, straight out of the river here, and built it all on site from, all local made material.
Then in 2018 they began to do some renovations to the place. It had a fair bit of damage from cyclone and just old homestead, need wear and tear, and
Well, it's just amazing to see. You could turn the clock back 100 years now, and this is probably what it used to look like. So it's amazing to see it back in its glory days.
yeah.
When we first got here, there was no fences really in the Gascoyne at all. Not much infrastructure, but I think that was just the remnants of when sheep and wool went bust in. Not sure the timelines, but early 90s or whenever it was, and like this was huge sheep country here, thousands and thousands of sheep, and
Cyclones and droughts as well.
cyclones, droughts, and after droughts you get floods. And everyone trying to get into cattle. Cattle prices were not very good at the time. They were up and down, and most of the time down. Since we've been here, we've sort of seen everything evolve a hell of a lot. Like, we've put fences up and infrastructure, but all our neighbours have been doing the same thing. So the main things we done with the development of the place was basically we knuckled down on wire and water. So we put in over 400 kilometres of new fence lines. That was boundaries, fencing highways, splitting the place up into internal paddocks, holding paddocks. And then we got tucked into the water side of things. We've got 2 artesian bores here, which we wanted to utilise as much as we could. It's free water just getting pushed out of the ground, so we thought, well, let's make a bit of a plan up as to how far we can sort of push this water and utilise it without having to drill bores and go through all the solar pumps and all that. So we managed to hook up about 200 kilometres of poly onto our artesian bores with sort of 60 odd watering points off them. Our last major project was a new set of cattle yards, which we've which we've just finished in March. So it'll be well utilised here, as well as a transfer yard, holding yard for cattle coming from sort of the northern properties, heading down south.
As an integrated agricultural business, we're looking at our supply chain from conception to consumption. So we're breeding the cattle, we're feeding the cattle, we're finishing the cattle, and we take them all the way to Harvey beef, and we put someone's next meal on the plate. Brickhouse plays a pivotal part in that because it's part of our supply chain. The cow and calf units we've got from our northern properties, we bring cattle down to Brickhouse station to background them. And that's been an interesting journey because we've stepped away from breeding on this property to backgrounding, and this has become our feed and our nutritional shock absorber for our northern properties as the cattle transition to the southern properties. So it's played an integral part. It's also allowed us to manage this property in an environmentally friendly fashion as well. So we destocked when we did all our work around our infrastructure. We gave the country a chance to recover. After many years of the sheep and wool days and tough seasons and a lot of sheep, heavy stocking rates, the country was, probably a little worse for wear. So what this gave us the opportunity to do is destock, breathe, look after the country, give it a chance to reseed and reset, and it has abundant potential, and hence our horticulture project complementing our beef cattle project.
Approximately 12 months ago, nearly to date really, we started clearing here. It was a blank canvas. So we put in 4 varieties of mangoes, and we've put in a sprinkler system for growing hay and sweet potatoes as a rotation, and we've also growing agave, blue agave for spirits, the tequila cultivar. We have a very secure, clean water source here. Just over here is the Gascoyne River. There's a network of pipes known as the bore field, which runs one on the south side, one on the north side of the river, parallel to the river. Approximately every kilometre or so, there'll be a bore and a pumping station where it's delivering water into that pipeline, which is running down either side of the river into a network of pipes delivering to all the farms.
All the locals used to tell me you got to wait and see what happens when you actually do get some decent rain here, and yeah, it is amazing. There's grass where you thought you wouldn't grow grass.
From the herbage to the buffle.
Yeah. It's thick,
amazing.
like even clay pans where you thought like a tusk of grass would never grow. They're sort of, a lot of them are lush with grass, herbage, all different types of stuff. So bringing some cattle in here and seeing how the place runs and operates after we've done everything here, that's going to be the interesting part. And to see how much feed we've got now, to see what that actually does to cattle we bring in here is the most exciting part, I think.
The most rewarding thing over the past 6 years, I guess the development of Brickhouse, and from where we started to where we are now, infrastructure, learning, business, the kids, and watching the kids grow up too and develop, and it's a really important thing for us to bring our kids up on the land like we did.
Yeah, most definitely. There's no better way to be brought up around animals, and you get exposed. The kids get exposed to so many different things that the kids in town don't. Like you can ride horses and ride motorbikes. Everything's at their fingertips. So
just the knowledge of the land and what you can do with it, and providing a food source for the rest of the country, I suppose, too, it's pretty important. And it's good for the kids to see the work ethic of people in the bush.
I think the thing I love about living at Brickhouse is, since the beginning, Brickhouse has been, like they call it, the gem of the Gascoyne. So it's good to be able to bring it back to be the gem of the Gascoyne.